Alright, don't forget to pay attention. We have the new intro to play right now.
Correct.
Yes. Here we go.
I'm ready. That was awesome.
Hello, everyone. My name is
Thank
Cameron
you.
Cowan, and welcome to The Living Joke. We have a fun-filled episode for you today. That was our new intro that Will made this week. My only regret is that I didn't give him a font so we could have better branding at the bottom, but that's a marketing department thing. Who cares? But it's good and a lot of fun. It's very much them, which I enjoy. It's very different from all the things that I do. So from a brand differentiation perspective, we're winning. So, but welcome to The Living Joke. This is episode 8, which is so crazy. That we're already 8 episodes in. I wanted to mention that we are part of the Soupcast podcast network, part of Something or Other Publishing and Media, and I'm trying to get all of the hosts on the network to finally say that, so I have to lead by example and always mention we're part of Soupcast. I also wanted to remind everyone that if you want to go see more fun content from us, including art from Will, from Connor, all this type of thing, Substack is the location you want to go to, and that is going to be, oh, my studio light is not on, here we go. And that is going to be thelivingjoke.substack.com. And that's a great place to follow us, all the guys, find streaming links, all this type of thing. We also are, later in the show, going to be doing an ad for an upcoming Soup anthology. It's kind of our first sponsored ad break. I say sponsored because it's a network ad and I insisted on doing it, and Will and Connor just said I didn't say I couldn't. But it's our first kind of like ad break sort of thing. We'll be seeing that later in the show because we have a great new anthology, a sci-fi fantasy anthology coming out in October, actually. So, and for all of my Cameron Journal people, my new book's coming out on September 12th. We'll talk about it. But we're going to have that trailer later in the show. So today we have a lot of fun topics. We're going to talk about religious grifters. We're going to talk about the Canadian forest lockdowns. And I'm going to go quickly grab a video about that because I forgot to grab one. And we're also going to talk a little bit about AI and tech because we kind of started that conversation, I think, a couple weeks ago. And the guys have more to say. And speaking of the guys, let me get them in here. Here they are, your favorite people.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. And I'm being very lazy today. I did not change out of my comfy hoodie that I am happy wearing, and I barely put face on. I got away with concealer and some powder and called it a day. So, hello.
You look exquisite.
Thank you. So I wanted to kind of dive right into the deep end of the pool. I was grabbing some videos for our religious grifters segment, and it was, YouTube is now convinced I'm an evangelical, which is hilarious. It'll be quickly dissuaded by that. I'm gonna have to go look at some weird stuff in order to dissuade YouTube from that idea. But I kind of picked the best of the best, but it was quite interesting, quite funny. Some of the stuff that I found along the way, especially as someone that grew up that way. But in any case, algorithms are fun. How are you guys doing? How's your Wednesday?
It's pretty lovely.
So far, so good. Pretty relaxing.
Yeah, it's cold and rainy here, which is fun. So, good. So, do you want to dive right in with the Canadian lockdown situation and how they're keeping people out of the forest?
Sure.
Yes. All right. Well, I did just find a clip while I was vamping. So let me kind of bring everyone up to speed. So, as everybody knows, especially if you have lived in the northern part of the country, Canada has lots of large forests. Canada only has about 60 million people in a country larger than the United States. And so they have lots of large forests and they like to burn and send smoke down here, which when I lived in Seattle made our air quality absolutely terrible. And so this late summer they've had more drought, and in order to mitigate that, they're trying to keep people out of forests to stop forest fires. This has come off. The narrative is that everything is a bit weird and draconian. How can you ban people from hiking and being out of doors? And so that's kind of the setup for the story. And we'll get a little bit more set up because we have a clip. So let me click this button. And I only have it for me because I was doing the news hour. So let me bring you guys back. Here we go. And then we'll go here and we'll watch this short clip from Global News Canada on this issue. Here we go.
A national charity is weighing in on Nova Scotia's restrictions on travel in the woods. Although the Canadian Constitution Foundation supports the province-wide burn ban, it says the other measures go too far. It wants the prohibition on hiking, camping, fishing, and picnicking in the woods lifted.
We're creating a culture where we value safety above any other value, including our fundamental freedoms, our freedom to move around our communities. When you describe everything as a safety issue, it means everything can be controlled.
The call comes as social media is alight with public debate, and the tip line for reporting violations has been overwhelmed with calls. The CCF has written a letter to Premier Tim Houston urging him to rescind the travel restrictions. The group is threatening to take legal action and has started a petition garnering 2,000 signatures in 24 hours.
So some people will take a route where they don't have access to transit and they might not have a vehicle, so they take their bikes through a forested trail to get to work.
Please.
And these are people who especially work in lower income jobs because they don't have a vehicle.
The CCF is also concerned about the hefty $25,000 fine for breaking the rules, calling it a grossly disproportionate penalty. Meantime, Newfoundland and Labrador is also taking aggressive action as multiple wildfires rage in that province.
New fines will range from $50,000 to $150,000. For a first offense, when a ticket is issued, fines will increase from $75 to $50,000. And imprisonment in default of payment will increase from 3 days to up to 6 months.
In a statement, Nova Scotia's Department of Natural Resources says its prevention measures are allowed under the Forests Act. We are making decisions that are in the best interest of Nova Scotians, it says. Our province is the second most densely populated in the country. That means wildfire is a greater risk to our people and our communities. Sky Bryden-Blom, Global News, Halifax.
And there we have it. That's
Lord.
Have a vehicle, so they take their bike.
Yeah. So I've already talked a lot on this, so I'll let you guys go first.
May I start?
Please
Oh, yeah, of
do.
course.
All right. Let me just start by addressing her ridiculous claim. Ain't nobody biking to work in Canada. Nobody is biking to work, and let alone low-income people. If they're low income, they're fucking walking to the Dollar General that's next to their apartment complex and praying to get a job. No.
Yes.
Nobody riding to work in Canada on a bicycle. Nobody's
At least
walking
not
the
in
trail.
winter. Yeah.
No, definitely not. But the thing is like people are doing shit they're not supposed to. They're causing fires. They're violating the burn ban. They're not responsible, and they leave trash. They fucking ruin the forest. To some part, fucking travel and influencers have played a role where these usually uncrowded secret spots are then suddenly exposed and everybody floods to it and ruins it. So if protesters are out there protesting because they want to preserve the right to set their forest on fire, I think that's a dumb argument.
I don't have much to say. I just think that a lot of places get criticized for taking such advanced measures in all sorts of things around the world. But they have to. It's the same reason that food labels or medication labels have to say, don't eat this or take this if you're allergic to this. They can't. Unfortunately, it'd be nice if they could say, oh, just don't do these couple things to help reduce risk of fire, but then you're free to do whatever else you want, because people will abuse that kind of freedom and do stupid shit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that is one of the hard parts about a lot of this stuff is how, what do you do for stupid people? I think is the hardest problem to solve, and the most probably intractable thing is trying to counteract dumb people, that's that's not an easy thing to do, as
I've
we know.
heard, I don't have anything to back this up, but I also heard that like firefighters are trying to get in there and people are like fucking around and blocking the way and shit because they're mad about the thing. It's like they're trying to stop the forest from burning. Can you please move the fuck out of the way? I think that's kind of what started this whole ball rolling, but I may be wrong. Don't take me at face value. I'm not a news reporter.
Well, and there's the other I think the other half of this conversation, because people talk a lot about the fines, and there was a picture with a guy who was holding up his ticket with the $25,000 fine for walking in the woods. People have no idea how expensive it is to actually fight one of ththese fires, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
When you talk about when you even airdropping fire retardant and doing that sort of thing, those planes are thousands of dollars per hour. Every hour they're in the air is thousands of dollars. So literally one day of fighting a fire using aerial tools, that's $100,000 a day, every day, for a month. And the costs are tremendous. And so when you have a situation as we did in California, where PG&E's power line set the forest on fire and burnt down half of California, several years ago, PG&E was sued for millions of dollars because the state of California fronted millions to fight the fire, sort of thing. And in Canada, it's the same situation. It doesn't even get into access issues, whatever have you. And so, if it's dry, as somebody who came from a dry state where it's always a drought and we have fires and this is always a problem, and at one point there was one fire that burnt down very close to where my dad used to work and was kind of getting close to their house, which is in the city. It does seem, I'm not gonna lie, it does seem a little crazy and draconian, but I also know it's expensive to fight forest fires, and it can be a real pain in the ass, and I think there's a lot of us in Western, who either come from, I don't live in the West now, but come from Western states where it's dry, that wishes places would take this stuff more seriously, because humans oftentimes are the leading cause of starting fires, including the one that almost burnt my parents' house down, was started by a religious group bonfire, and they burnt down a good portion of the suburbs between Denver and Boulder, and they're now in court for the bill, millions of dollars. So it does seem draconian. I think it probably is draconian. I think that is how desperate New Labrador and Nova Scotia are. I think that's the problem. They're desperate to do something, and this is the next step in the desperation.
Yeah, the $25,000 fine. I mean, I guarantee you that this is purely just a deterrent. And it's like, yeah, we're going to charge you with this. It doesn't mean you're actually going to pay that. I guarantee you, if you end up, like, if they determine your, intent in the forest was malicious, or you were doing something you weren't supposed to be doing, they might be able to reduce it or whatever, but most of them aren't going to be able to hold up in court, man. I feel
Yeah.
like most judges will see it and be like, it was a seasonal thing type of deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can
There's.
still face repercussions if you are fooling around. And the environmental cost alone, not even the fiscal
Mhm.
cost of it, is, that's thousands of acres of land, and like
Yeah.
species live there that might not live anywhere else. Tons of animal habitats. Um, you know, burns are meant to be controlled to preserve the ecosystem, and people don't understand when you walk off of the trail. Like, if they're yapping about this specifically about the bike trail and walking path, and people are getting arrested for going off into the forest and whatever. Yeah, there's a clip of Rambo when he's like, "I didn't do anything," and then they just start shooting at him. uh,
Yeah. No, I mean,
I,
the thing is, it's not just going like off trail or like off, it's like in a ski resort going
yeah,
off the ski area. Like literally, they kind of showed this in the clip, not very well, but they had like cones in front of trails. Like they're just like
yeah.
shutting down whole trails, whole parts
Yeah,
of
whole
forest.
campgrounds.
Yeah, whole campgrounds to keep people out just to reduce the fire risk.
Yeah. Well,
And
that's what they have
that's.
now. Apparently, it's gotten that bad.
That's the argument from officials. There's multiple clips here, as we can see. This is the premier of Nova Scotia. This is the guy that had the $25,000 ticket already. We're not going to watch, but it's there. Sort of thing.
If
So yeah, I mean,
when you
all
step
these
off the
clips, just all
trail,
these clips.
if you're stepping off the trail and you're not supposed to, like, there's supposed to be designated areas for camping and whatnot. If there are, I don't know Nova Scotia. I've never been to Canada, but
Yeah.
just in this hypothetical, if there's there's places that are allotted for certain things, and when you're going off the trail, there's a fragile ecosystem that you are tracking all of your human germs through, and not only destroying like microbiomes and other things that will be beneficial to the forest, you're just messing shit up. Don't go off the trail if it says don't go off the trail.
Yeah, I think one of the issues people are having is there's just it's creating major access issues. It's the summer. Summers in Canada are short by their very nature, and I think that's where the issues. But I think also people forget. Speaking, you mentioned ecosystem. So Nova Scotia's on the eastern side of Canada. It's actually not that very far from where we are, which means um, it has a very similar ecology to what we have here in the Northeast. And anyone who's been up here in the Northeast knows there's a heavy forest. There's lots of forest, lots of trees, lots of hardwood forest, especially as someone who comes from the grassland. There's so many trees here. It's like all these trees. And the reality is Nova Scotia, which is usually a rather wet part of Canada, has not had rain, and there isn't any coming for a while, which means that dense hardwood forest that we have here in the Northeast is dry. And when it's dry,
limp.
it burns real easy. And I think that they're just trying to prevent more damage, sort of thing. And that's why a lot of areas are just now restricted, because they're trying to prevent the terrible damage and the cost and the pollution and firefighters' lives. People put their lives at risk to go out and fight this stuff by the air and by the land. So,
Or other people's lives that might be in danger from the fire.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
I don't know. It's people, like, also the access issue. There's not a road they can walk on. They don't have a road, or a dirt road, any other park. There's nothing. I mean, it's Nova Scotia. I mean, you could pretty much swing a cat and find a trail somewhere. I mean, is it really
Yeah.
that hard? Is this big of a deal that you can't take the extra 5 minutes to walk the long way?
Yeah, or even find an area that's not isn't in as bad a shape, or honestly kind of figure out something else to do. I mean, I think it probably seems a little crazy to people. Although I did laugh that as I was scrolling through while we were talking, there was a clip I think from CBC when this happened before in 1998. So it's not even unprecedented. Actually, it's this video here. We won't watch it. It's short, but we won't watch it. But like this has kind of happened before because it's this dense forest that's much, Nova Scotia is much less developed than many of our states, sort of thing. And so yeah, and they're showing people's homes and all this sort of thing, and that also affects things as well. And I think it's just I think it's a very tough thing. I think especially post pandemic, there's a lot of kind of anti-reaction to a lot of government overreach. Especially in Canadian politics. This is also after the truckers were protesting against pandemic regulations and all this sort of thing, and I think people have kind of had it with a lot of government overreach, and it just seems like such a fundamental right that you should be able to do, sort of thing. And how can you not do it? I think that's where the rub is for a lot of people.
It's a right, but it's also in a way a privilege, because if you abuse it,
Yeah.
you can't
Yeah.
you can't have access to if you're abusing it, and people are abusing it. So it's another case of one person ruins it for everybody else.
And it only takes one. It's one spark. It's one campfire. It's one bad power line. Thank you, PG&E in California. Sort of like it doesn't take very much for things to explode. In this case, literally. So, yeah.
By the way, there's a great clip about something in Albuquerque involving a fire. You should check out our Instagram story at TLJ Joke.
Yeah.
TL Joke?
DLJ_joke on Instagram.
That's the one.
Yeah. So, yes. And, and we already even just see, like, the fires in Halifax and all that. That's current. That's only a couple days ago. Like, this is already, it's already a problem,
Connor was born in the fire, actually.
Yes. Yes, we know he was. So,
Forged in flame.
Forged in flame. So, yeah, it's, but yeah, there's been a lot of kind of back and forth about, Canada and their authoritarian socialism, and people are trying to map on, the conversations we have in this country about such things, and so here we are. So,
I'm sure all the maggots are out there, like jumping up and down, like, see, we told you.
Yeah, but I think that also kind of opens a bigger conversation, and then we'll move on to our religious grifters, because I picked some good ones for religious grifters. That all kind of opens up that bigger conversation about environmentalism and climate change, and how much attitudes have changed and shifted on that as the years have gone by. Especially those of us who are old enough to remember when we called it global warming.
Yes.
And then that went away because we found out, surprising to none of us who studied the science, climate is more complicated.
Man Bear Pig wasn't real after all.
No, Man Bear Pig was VS. Like, the climate is really complicated, and I think it's, I think the initial parts of the environmentalism movement in the 1970s were so good because people forget kind of how dirty industry was in this country. In fact, this recently came up because you had written some song titles and you were talking about the old GE dumping pond in Pittsfield, a Silver Lake, I think it is, and you use it for a
beneath Silver Lake.
Yeah, you use it for the song. Yeah, it's like people kind of forget. And the great thing about environmentalism, and that gets into Love Canal and in Pennsylvania and the annual burning of the Cuyahoga River in Cleveland and all the people kind of forget that we just kind of used to just, we used to dump oil on rocks in the ground and that was an acceptable thing to do. We used to just sort of pour shit out and didn't care. And environmental regulations got rid of a lot of that, and it made water cleaner and land better and air cleaner for everybody involved. You look at air pollution from the 70s and 80s, like especially in like LA or something, and it's out of control, sort of thing. And then from that, we got into, in 1980 we're going to have an ice age sort of thing. This is, we're all going to freeze to death. And then they were kind of like, oh, wait, no, it's actually going the other direction. We're all going to cook to death sort of thing. And then the next iteration was, well, maybe neither. But I think
we're all going to drown.
Right now we're going to have sea level rise, everyone, we're all going to drown. But I think to the person they interview's point, at what point in public policy do you have to prioritize people? Like, where is the line where are we saving the planet or saving the people? Sometimes we can save both, sometimes we can only do one. Which do you prioritize, people or planet? And that gets into a moral values conversation to where there's no right answer.
Well, Connor, do you have a final message about pollution for the kids out there?
Just don't do silly nonsense that damages our planet for no reason.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't litter.
Yeah. Give a hoot.
Yeah, don't litter.
Pollute.
I'm not saying you can't own a car or something. You don't have to throw your trash out the window of said car.
Please stop doing that.
Which used to be a thing back in the day. Which still boggles my mind. Like,
Used to be.
Yeah, like people just
walk a block
Have you been to
over from
Philly?
here, there's trash all over the side of the road.
Yeah, it's like Philly has yet to get the message about not throwing trash out of their car. They're still working on that down there.
Oh my god, it's like Mad Max land when you get off the highway down there. Oh my god.
Yeah, no, that's I'm like, where's the sanitation department? Do you not have street sweepers here?
They killed them.
Yeah, yes.
They died over on
that
Penn Ave.
Yeah. They have successfully exterminated the last... That'd be a good title for a video. The last street sweeper in Philadelphia. Like,
That didn't die of a fent overdose.
Right. And he's just standing there with a thing and a broom being like, what do I do?
What do I do, Lord?
Yes. So... Alright. Do we want to talk about our religious grifters? Because this will be fun.
Vine is a little bit of half and half of a religious grifter. He was a very special man, but I would like to give the floor to you guys.
Well, I don't necessarily know that Connor had a religious grifter picked. I pulled a bunch of videos to react to. So do you want to talk about your guy first and then we'll react to videos? I think that'd
sure.
be more
I
fun.
guess,
Yeah.
All right. This one is Anthony Enrique Ginac. I think that's how you pronounce it. He was born Jose Moreno in 1970. Convicted Colombian-born American fraudster and con artist. Over 30 years, he used wealthy, high-ranking personas pretending to be Saudi Prince Khalid bin al-Saud, House Assad, excuse me, to fraudulently secure investment and a whole bunch of other things. He ended up stealing $8.1 million from investors by pretending to be a Saudi prince. He also, in one instance, was able to convince an American Express representative to issue him a platinum card with a $200 million limit under the name of the real Prince Al-Saud. And he was claiming that his previous card had been lost, and failing to supply him with a new one would anger his father, the king. And then, in his defense, when he was found out, he claimed that the line of credit was hush money after having a homosexual affair with an actual Saudi prince. And then it's just a lot of other various thefts, pretending to be various people, like eccentric millionaires. He would still pretend like he was one of the Saudis, get on private jets and expensive gifts, and then just kind of disappear. So definitely a grifter.
The Anna Delvey
What was this
method.
guy's real name again?
his real name is, his born name is Jose Moreno,
Oh, okay.
and he goes by the name Anthony Enrique Ginoc, or yeah, Hinoc. I think that's what it would be, because G is pronounced different.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. It's been a while since I spoke Spanish.
So I haven't picked a particular grifter, but I did get some, like, just ridiculous things that they've been known for. I thought I'll just read some off real quick.
Yeah.
Some grifts sold lifetime memberships to a Christian theme park and sold emergency food buckets at outrageous prices, claiming the end of the world was near. Claimed that God wanted him to live in luxury, complete with a $2,000 specifically hat and mansion. Let's see. Used a hidden earpiece to get personal info about audience members and miraculously revealed their ailments. People believed he could instantly cure cancer.
There's an excellent old movie with that plot, actually.
Let me put the snake on you.
Yeah.
Oh, this one's kind of funny, as I feel like I could see this in like a video game, you know? Created an elaborate self-help system that required massive payments for spiritual advancement. I'm sure this is a pyramid scheme.
See also Scientology.
There was
Yeah.
matter of fact, that last one that you just said, when I worked at a nursing home, and you know, people are dementia patients, but some of them still have like access to some of their funds because they're not totally gone yet. And I remember going in this patient's room, and there was a religious grifter, like, you know, HLN type of guy, on there talking about, he's like, I know that you might not have $100,000. I know that you might not have $50,000, $10,000, but I know that you can afford $5,000 to send today to receive a financial anointment for blessings in the future. And I'm like, holy shit, how is this allowed?
I actually have a clip exactly like that with Jim Baker of all people asking for 1,000 people to send $1,000.
Oh boy.
Hang
Oh
on.
yes, he was the one that
Yeah.
claimed God wanted him to have a hat and mansion. What's with the hat?
Hang on.
Why the $2,000 hat?
Was it a
Hang
nice
on.
hat?
Right here. Literally. Watch this
Oh
shit.
man, he needs a hat.
No TV show has the people we have. Perilous times are here. You're going to see bombs drop in the next few months on some of the countries and even ours. So be aware and stay tuned, because Jesus is coming and we're here to talk about it. And when I was 19 years old, one of the great prophets of that time prophesied over me that I would help usher in the coming of the Lord. There's a possibility that we're going to have an atomic bomb dropped in this country
Oh my goodness.
within 2 years, maybe sooner. We are facing a very difficult financial time. I'm asking for 1,000 people to give $1,000
Amen.
to keep this ministry on the air.
Amen.
And we have, I think, the greatest prophets in all on this program.
I did it for
Oh yes, of course.
No, literally is 1,000 people to send him $1,000. By the way, this man's already committed fraud, been convicted, and gone to jail. He's still out here, and people will he'll get that money. People still send him money to this day. Like, if you don't know who Jim Baker is, back in the 80s, him and his, honestly, much more famous wife, Tammy Faye, who was known for her crazy made-up makeup, because she wore a lot of makeup and everything, they had this this television network called PTL, whose acronym I don't remember anymore. Jessica Chastain did a really great movie about her life a couple years ago. Tammy is now past. Jim, unfortunately, is still with us. And Tammy became famous for talking to an AIDS patient in the 80s, and that really set the Christian world kind of all aflutter. But Jim is still out here. He's remarried to somebody else. He's still out here asking for 1,000 people to send $1,000. This man has been convicted of fraud. But the checks are still flowing. So to your point, well, like, this is literally it.
If I was an old lady looking at this, and honestly, like, nothing really seems off if I'm a gullible old lady, but the one thing that really bothers me is he keeps talking out of the side of his mouth. Like, I mean, literally, he's like...
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, these guys, I mean, it gets, especially when you get into, like, Creflo Dollar, literally money's in the name. I couldn't find the clip, but there's a video of him somewhere talking about why everyone needed to give more money so that he could buy a new private jet. Not a private jet, a new one. Because the one he has is getting old, the interiors wore out, all this type of thing. It's time to upgrade. The new G650 had come out. Like, it was time to upgrade, sort of thing. It's absolutely... There's also another one, and I might be able to find it. This pastor, this video went viral because he asked the ushers to close and lock the doors until people like gave all the money and everything. Yes, I don't know. Can I even find that? Pastor asks for doors to be shut to get money. I don't even know if I can find it.
I would be like, pastor holds audience hostage. Maybe search.
Yeah. That. Oh, here's the new. Well, here's the video. We'll just run a minute of it.
Close the doors for me for a quick moment. I want everybody to remain standing quickly.
Until $40,000. He's trying to raise $40,000. Yeah.
Listen. When you study scripture, you would notice that whenever God did something in the lives of talent and treasure, I was taught a long time ago.
And he just keeps going. This is 4 minutes, and they're like, closing the doors, and you should give us money.
Online to give this, if I get 1,000 in the sanctuary to give this, that's $40,000 tonight.
See, there it is.
There it is.
Now, everyone up here, we've all sold and seeded, but I need everyone.
I mean, this is the shit that goes on. And as someone who grew up evangelical, this was like at least once a month. Some pastors, it was every Sunday. Like, the constant asking for money. And I think the worst part is a lot of this money never actually goes to helping people. Of all the churches I went to growing up, and I grew up evangelical, not charismatic like this, but evangelical, only one church I ever went to had like an active food closet for helping poor people. And that was a very old church that had been around from the 50s called First Southern Baptist of Westminster. And
they're Baptists, that's why.
Well, I mean, it's not always. Baker he was charismatic. I think they were, I forget what denomination Jim Baker originally was. They're charismatic. This guy who locked people in the church for $40,000, they are, COGIC, Church of God in Christ. It's not just Baptist. Like, there's multiple denominations that get in on this whole thing. But, like, it was a very old church, been around for a long time, and they had an active food closet. I know because the first guy I ever hooked up with as a young man, his mom ran the food closet. And so I knew all about that food closet.
She ran the food closet, and you found yourself a snack.
I did, yeah, exactly. And I carried her son home. We had a great time. It's, yeah, I mean, that was of the 6 churches I grew up in, that was the only one that actively helped the community. This $40,000 is not going to help anyone. It's going to go into this dude's pocket, his sweaty shirt pocket. Like, it's like, it's not, and that's, I have another clip from Joel Osteen where 60 Minutes is kind of taking him to task. Oh, no, I think I got rid of that one. I had a Joel Osteen clip where this guy on 60 Minutes was literally like, oh, yeah, like, it's like, oh, you raise all this money and you're anti-gay and all this type of thing. And the crazy thing is there's all this money in all of these places and it's not helping anyone. It just goes to make a bigger building, add on more seats, and extremely cushy lifestyles for the people at the head of it. It's obscene. It's one of the most obscene things about this country. It's not the advertising or the crazy cars or the huge houses. It's stuff like this. We're so rich, we can afford religious grifters. That's just awful sort of thing. But
Yeah, what you don't see, we're not gonna search through the whole clip. We're gonna move on to the next one here. But he's like, close the doors. He's like, I need everybody to give $1,000 before they leave. Otherwise, you're not leaving.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, it's kind of a 4-minute clip. We don't watch the whole thing, but yeah, no, that bit, the last bit we played, where he's like, "If I get it from everybody in this sanctuary," that's the part of him. That's why it has a big bump, because that's what everyone was watching. Like that. That's him being like, "Yeah, we're not going to leave until you get $40,000." Sort of like, it's crazy. It's crazy. And then it's not just money; it's also lies. In the next clip, we have Benny Hinn, who's been around forever. I mean, just forever, and he's still alive, around forever, and he, in this clip, is healing people.
Yes.
This is the end of the night. There's been a whole preaching, music, blah, blah, blah. Everyone is high on religion and group crowd stuff and all this sort of thing. And yeah.
The power
It's embarrassing to watch. The power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you.
Jesus in that coat.
Yeah. I mean,
Breath of
it's
the
just...
Lord.
Yeah. I did find one from Africa, because everything in Africa is more crazy than anything in America. And this is even more...
Are you ready? You want something? Take it! That's yours tonight. You want it? You want
People are
it?
ostensibly
Take
doing
it!
this of their free will, by the way.
You want it tonight? Take it! The power of the Holy Ghost! Take it! Oh, take it! Take it! Take it! Of the power of the Holy Ghost! The anointing of the Holy Ghost!
Anyway, you get the point.
The Holy Ghost.
Anyway. That's it. Yeah. Religious grifters are nuts. They're nuts. The sad thing is, it's not even an American phenomenon. I think this is a church in Africa. They're breaking that plastic furniture. It's... Oh my
Is that
goodness.
common practice, Connor? Is that common practice? To be breaking the plastic furniture in the name of the Lord?
Oh, I wouldn't know. My church wasn't that crazy, thankfully.
Doesn't sound like you love Jesus enough.
I guess not, man.
You need healing that was so powerful that you were compelled to fall on the ground. I'm shocked, simply shocked.
Even with my faith, if someone's like, "None of you are leaving until you get $40,000," I'm getting up and walking out. Or, I mean, we grew up in the same town, but you might have even known our at my church, our Father Duggar. We didn't go to the same church.
We didn't, but I know who Father Duggar was.
He was great, and thank goodness he wasn't just up there yelling, be healed, and we weren't all freaking falling. Oh. That's what gets me, is that there's like thousands of people in the crowd flying out of their chairs. Like,
Dude, they get that old lady, and like they threw, like, I think Pay Money Wubby has a video on this. This old lady, she gets up and like throws her walker away, and she's all jazzed up because she's full of the breath of the Lord. And that lady's gonna go home and fall because she doesn't have her walker.
No, it's yeah. Well, and not only that, but when you talk, I mean, there's the money exploitation. There's the convincing people they're healed of things that they're not. There's places that do anointing with water and oil and all this sort of thing, and it's inevitably there's always a dollar attached to it. And that's if you just want to do this sort of thing as a religious belief thing, that's all great, fine and well. I have been part of many spiritual paths once I left the church, and I definitely paid fees to go to events and all this type of thing. But there was not thousands, millions of dollars rolling around, and no one showed up in a private jet either. And it's rather, I think, crazy and obscene. You have all this money flowing, and it's really just going to people who don't need it, as much.
Oh yeah, it's who's that? Maybe we'll see it. Maybe we'll see. I don't want to say it because if you have another clip to play, I don't want to spoil it.
No. I pulled several in case we needed them or not. Sort of thing. But the two I wanted to play was the Jim Baker one and the two that we just saw with Benny Hinn and the Magic Coat, because we talked about the whole because how dumb that is. And then I also found that other one with the people falling over. I'm like, oh yes, this went viral. So I was just kind of recounting viral moments. So no, I have one about Pat Robertson talking about gay people, but that's not really germane to the discussion. So no, I keep a stable for our purposes and uses.
Connor, did you have any more on that list?
Of list of ridiculous things?
Yeah.
Oh, I can see quick.
I was thinking the video that I was going to bring up was, I don't know his name, but I swear to God, if the devil was a person, this dude looks exactly like him. And he's a big pass. He's the one that bought Tyler Perry's jet.
Oh,
this one's pretty good. They touted themselves as the, and I quote, Lord of the Universe at age 15 and charged people for his presence at rallies.
Actually, I have a friend, and you know who it is. I'll tell you after. I have a friend that his mom did that to him. He was like a child healer and set him up in tents for money. I'll tell you who it is after the show.
Oh my God! I think I know who it is.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. No, some of this stuff is weird, but that's grifty. That's grifty too. So it's Actually, honestly, Connor, I would love nothing more than to take you to one of these crazy rallies and have you just resist the whole thing and take video the whole time. I would be on the floor laughing, not because of the healing. I would be laughing at you completely screwing up their grift. That would be so hilarious. Because you just stand there, say nothing, and just completely do nothing. It would be so good.
Go and pretend I have some chronic thing, and then don't let them heal me.
I would be dead on the floor of laughter and hilarity. Yes.
And now you can see. No, I can't. Wait.
You don't need glasses anymore.
Yeah. It's like, I brought them here to help my blind friend.
If we hit 1,000 followers, I am gonna go to a Louisiana snake church.
Actually, well, that's more in West Virginia.
Or West Virginia snake church.
Yeah. That's.
I will say.
Yeah, the snake charmer people, they don't tend to be very wealthy. Those all tend to be one-room churches in the holler. But that's its own. That's a whole other discussion. That's its own whole weird thing. But, So, I enjoyed the fake Saudi prince. That's fun. That's the Anna Delvey method. I appreciate that. I kind of have a little bit of respect for that. To own the bit for that long, I kind of I kind of appreciate that owning of the bit. But yeah, there's
that's commitment to the bit.
It is. It's real commitment. It's a lot of. I mean, that's a lot of a lot of work, sort of thing.
And he is in prison currently.
I'm sure he is. I have no doubt whatsoever that he is very, very much in jail. I do love the fact that Anna Delvey was a grifter, but has kind of turned that into a career and has been on Dancing with the Stars and does art shows. And I'm kind of like, well, you achieved your goal, girl. You wanted to be in high society, and you kind of got there. So, what was a few months in prison and a pending immigration trial?
Grifting with the stars.
Grifting with the stars. Absolutely. So, all right, well, we're going to go over because we're 10 minutes to the hour, but I'm excited to hear you two talk about AI and tech in segment 3, I'm seeing links about artificial embryos and artificial wombs. So I'm excited to hear what you two have prepared on that.
Would you mind pulling up the first link, the human embryo one?
Not at all.
Or
I
the
was wondering if
womb?
you wanted these on screen, if you were just gonna, but yes.
Yeah, we'll do the artificial womb one first, actually.
Sure. Here you are.
All right. So this is the creation of the first human synthetic model embryos. Okay, so this is the human embryos. Right now, a study was being done. They finally finished it. They have created non-viable yet fully synthetic, grown from a petri dish human being tissue that shows active growth. So they are, I mean, it's a miracle that this even happens, but there are ethical standards in place. It is, I just want to reiterate, it is not a viable fetus at all. This is something grown in a lab, and it mimics human tissue. This is, I'm keeping my personal feelings out of it per se, on that aspect. As far as abortion and stuff, I'm not going to talk about that. But the thing that like is unsettling to me, and we'll see it more in the second article that we pick up. Oh no, CNN! Get out of here, CNN.
Yeah, no,
Is
let me
that
go grab that real quick.
okay? Well, we'll see. We can talk about this one first, and then bring the second one up.
Yeah.
We're in territory, medicine-wise, where we're essentially playing God, and I think that when is the limit that we're going to put on stuff like this? Like, there has to be some sort of stopping point, because we're playing in territory that humans, I don't believe, should dabble in.
Connor?
I'd like to see the other article too before I really
Oh, okay.
get into
Yeah,
it.
let me switch over. I've got
Or
it up
say
here.
anything about it.
Yeah, Japan's womb and neonatal medicine breakthrough.
Yes,
So.
this is the Eve therapy synthetic womb, and this is expected to, it mimics a womb in the uterus, in utero, and it mimics the stable environment with synthetic amniotic fluids to help continue to grow a extremely premature baby into a full baby. Possibly these are the beginnings of it. It's possible that technology will improve, as it always does. But they may be able to start saving life. I mean, as early, if like somebody came in and like, hey, I had this baby, I need an abortion or whatever. I'm 3 months in. Maybe we could get to a point where, if you wanted to, you could try to save that baby, because now we have an artificial womb that can do that. It's going to be decades before this is available even worldwide, but it's very interesting and exciting. However, I do believe, in comparison to the other article, this is facilitating life, whereas the other is creating life synthetically, and I think that's where I come to a crossroads on it.
Makes sense. Yeah,
That is
this
a
one,
big
this like you just said, this one seems like, I mean, the most innocent and well-intended things in the world could be misused. So just like anything else, this could be misused if it's taken into the wrong direction. But this seems good overall. And then again, it depends with the embryonic and synthetic human tissue. Where do they go with it? I mean, you hope that the people that have this kind of knowledge don't try to play God, because I do think at some point they need to take those things into consideration. But right now, it seems like it could just be. I didn't get to read the whole article, but I saw a part of it. It seems like they intend to use this, or like they could now inject disease or things like that into this tissue, the test effects and whatnot, without having to get samples from any real human beings or any animals or anything. You could just create like a slab of human tissue in a lab and then be like, all right, we want to inject this virus into it and observe how it affects it, etc., etc.
That is an interesting point, and the ability to test out new drugs and even new chemicals, like say, like even in food. I mean, the possibilities are endless, which you could do this kind of testing for on the human tissue, and it's not viable. It is technically a living human tissue specimen that they've synthetically created, so it will react just like a normal human body would to antigens and stuff. Bacteria, stuff hitting susceptible receptors. I made that up. I like it. I'm copywriting that. Susceptible receptors.
TM.
TM, yeah.
Actually.
And then, oh, there we go. Ding, ding. And then to the section that I wanted to talk about also now, this third article. This is, Connor, I don't know if you're familiar with, Cam, I believe you've seen it. It's not a far stretch, Connor. Blade Runner.
I've seen bits and pieces, but I never sat through
Okay.
the whole thing.
Gotcha. I mean, yeah, it's a long movie. So basically, like, there are these things, replicants, and this gets in with our tech and AI thing about when is too far, when is technology going too far? What's the line in the sand? In Blade Runner, this fictional tale in the future, which is, I think actually it was 2 years ago, but the movie was set in the future when it came out in '79. You know, I think that's when it came out.
Yes, I believe so.
They create these genetically bioengineered humans that are programmed by AI. They put in false memories into them, and they're basically indistinguishable from humans, other than they have a 4-year lifespan. And this is like the creation of, similar with stuff we've seen, Connor, like in Mega Man, or what was that movie that we watched the other day, like where The Matrix, yeah, with the robot human war, basically. AI versus humans. Same type of thing, and now these 4 or 5 replicants that he has to take care of and exterminate. The Blade Runner, that's a hunter of the replicants. The ones that he has to kill are self-aware, and they're trying to blend in. So you have to like perform like certain like speech tests on them, or observe their kind of weird behavior in order to figure out who's an android and who isn't. And it's a very, very interesting movie and a very dystopian future hellscape. But hey, there's spaceships and shit, so that's cool.
Well, and science fiction is kind of replete with that sort of artificial human idea. Obviously, Data from Star Trek. Also, the entire staff of the Dominion in Star Trek, because the only living beings are the founders of the Dominion, and all the Vorta and everybody else are all synthetically created by the founders. Battlestar Galactica, that's literally the premise of that whole franchise. Clones in Star Wars, sort of thing. That I think most of the clones are based off of genetics from Boba Fett and Boba Fett's son. So I would have to check in with my Star Wars crew to get that lore correct, but I believe that's right. Yeah, I mean, this has been a theme, and I think what's scary now is we're getting closer to that than not, which should give us all pause, I think. Especially with advancements in AI. I don't know. Connor, would you like an artificial friend?
No, I don't want an artificial friend. I'm happy with the tools we have now.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
homegrown.
Right.
I was discussing with my mother while I was over there, actually, and she calls Chat GPT she, and I'm like, oh god. I'm like, Mom, you call it a she. She's like, yeah, I'm like, it's genderless. It's an app. No. She's like, I wouldn't talk to it if it was a boy.
That's a lot. If it was a man, I wouldn't talk to it.
I think that's the perfect example of how humans look at this stuff and immediately assign it human characteristics it cannot have. Like, I think that's the perfect demonstration of where this stuff gets weird. Because, like, with no prompting whatsoever, your mom automatically assigned ChatGPT to be a woman, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I talk to Chat GPT like I'm talking to another human being, and it's not because I have some sort of like problem distinguishing AI from a real human being. It's oh my god, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Help me out.
You were talking. You talked to ChatGPT like it's a human being, not because.
Oh
of
yes, not because of any dissociation thing, but because I've seen enough science fiction and pop culture to know that, you know, I should probably be nice to it, and hopefully our machine overlords will remember me when the shit hits the fan. So you know, it's kind of like the thing, like, oh, be nice to the school, like, outcast, and you know, you get the note that says don't come to school tomorrow. That type of energy.
Yeah.
They'll
No,
be like
I'm-
scanning, and then they recognize me. They're like, verified. They just move on.
No. Absolutely.
I think, not even though I haven't seen the whole thing, I did sort of know the premise of Blade Runner. Will just saw The Matrix, but I grew up watching those movies and such. I think that's a possibility, and that's something the creators need to think about. But I wanted to mention another film. It's actually an anime movie called Summer Wars that I think right now shows the more... If AI is potentially dangerous, shows more of what the potential dangers are. Because right now we still don't have artificial... Like, we use the term artificial intelligence, but none of these programs actually have, like, what is a real consciousness or think for themselves. Most of them... they're all programmed for a purpose, and then a lot of them used reinforced learning, which is... I mean, we can learn the same way. It's just that a computer can... If we want to get in a car and drive around a track and learn, it takes us time. A computer can have 100,000 little cars drive around a track 100,000 times in an hour and learn from its mistakes and such. Anyway, what Summer Wars suggests is that, like, a lot of our current systems, like water systems, traffic lights, even fire respondent systems, are attached to AI and programs. And then the dangers if those things got hacked into, or for some reason the program became corrupt, the damage it could do. And it's not a gruesome anime movie. That it's not gory or anything like that, but you do see, like, all these traffic issues. The whole world's in this massive misfunction, and then it does get into even military bases with certain, like, missile silos being controlled by the AI, and that getting corrupted. And they avoid disaster. But the point is that that is very real, because we already use these things to help run things, and if they became even more reliant on it, and then a foreign power, an internal terrorist, something got a hold of it and was able to damage it, that could certainly be catastrophic.
No,
Absolutely.
and sometimes it's also, human error. You know, more than once, people have been killed due to human error. People have been saved due to human error. One of the most legendary air crashes was by a plane that could fly itself. Unfortunately, the pilot knocked the yoke ever so slightly and shut the autopilot off, and it crashed in the Florida Everglades because they could not find out if the landing gear was locked because the light bulb on a 10-cent light had burnt out. Killed 230 people. Alternatively, the only reason we didn't go to nuclear war in 1979 was because a very nice Soviet officer didn't believe the radar. And he was like, I don't think the Americans are firing anything, I think it's an error. And it was. So there's multiple instances of that.
Oh, human error. Remember in recent times, the mess up was sending out the emergency broadcast that missiles are on the way in Hawaii.
Yes.
Oh my god, people were fucking jumping into sewer grates and everything.
Yeah.
And then they're like, sorry, mistake, calm down.
Yeah.
But also, to say in comparison with what I've learned about AI since I started using it, and then some of these articles you just shared with us, Bo, it's like, who knows, maybe we could have Dr. Giro running around popping out androids sooner than we think.
That's true. Dr. Giro's closer than we think. But as far as just going back to pop or science fiction in Blade Runner, the action is secondary to the ethical and morality standards because these AI are self-aware. Even though their memories are false, they have feelings. They react like a human with emotions, but they actually feel pain. They are a human in every single way except physically, or divinely. I don't know, naturally. So like in one of the plot points of the story is I'm not sure if it's that he falls in love with her, because it's been so long since I've seen it, but he saves one of the replicants, kind of neglecting his duty to exterminate them. He kills the other three because they were actively causing problems. But this one, I don't remember if he falls in love or whatever, but he saves her and kind of goes rogue, I guess. And, it's like, are these, like, it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck. Is it a duck?
I mean, I think, I think that's, I think that's one of the ways in which things are getting a little bit scary, is I think we're actually going to have to start confronting these of all the stories across. I think we're going to have to start confronting these problems, these ethical lines, and that gets us into what does it mean to be human? How do we define that sort of thing? Is your humanity predicated on gestating 9 months inside a woman? To Japan, maybe not. Is your humanity predicated on having real parents? Maybe not. Is your humanity predicated on not being part machine? Maybe not.
Yeah, I suppose it would be on like a case-by-case basis, but I think to be a human is to have human experience. And all the things that, even if it's a robot, even if its memories might not be real, even if, like in Blade Runner, they are designed with a 4-year lifespan. But in all other aspects, they're completely normal. They can get on a plane, they can go and party in Ibiza, they can go and run for the Senate if they want to. They are just people, indistinguishable almost. You wouldn't know unless you were a detective. So, are they human? I think so, in a way. Maybe not a natural way, but they are.
I think
They're
that's
born
a
and then they die.
I think given the progress that Mr. Musk is making with robots and everything and some of the stuff you brought forward today, that may be a discussion that we have in our lifetimes.
Neuralink,
and perhaps
right?
not as far away as we think it'll be.
Is that his Neuralink?
Well, not only that, but the new Optimus Prime robots.
Oh, he's making robots now? Oh, Lord.
It has been for a while, yeah.
Well, I figured, I
already...
knew it was like a Boston Dynamics type of situation, but I didn't know they'd gone that far.
Yep. They are working in Amazon warehouses as we speak.
Hell yeah, dude.
Packing and moving boxes, yeah. And
I would buy
it's
Optimus
entirely
Prime.
adaptable. Yeah.
If I had Optimus Prime at my door and he was like the doorman.
Yeah, these robots aren't that cool, though.
It'd make you think twice.
Yeah. You know, we could end up with a situation soon where it's like, shoot him. Which one? Shoot the real Connor. They look the same. Like,
I'll be like, Connor, what color is my underwear? And you say blue, and then I shoot the one that says blue. And you know why I would know that you were the real Connor? Because I don't wear underwear.
The real me. I feel like we could also make a joke how the real me would just stand there fucking silently.
Yeah, right. The other one's trying to make an argument. Oh, yep, the dead giveaway.
It's kind of like, it's like, how did you know that was the fake Connor? It talks too much. Like that.
Convince me you're the real one, and I'm just playing my
I
game.
just
Come on.
I didn't know, I guess.
Shoot the other one.
Right.
I'd just be like, lucky guess. Oh, well.
Yeah. It's quite...
I would have gotten him eventually.
I mean,
it might just take me 2 shots.
Yeah, better do both just to be sure.
Yeah.
I mean, the way we're going, it's like we could shoot both, inject the real one with a bunch of cells, and he'll be backed up to snuff in no time.
Yeah, just like Joseph getting Dio's blood.
Yeah.
At the end of JoJo Season 2.
Yes. Or in Starship Troopers when he's getting repaired in the tank.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's...
Did we have anything else? I don't remember.
No, that was really it for today. And we're 12 minutes past the hour, so we can wrap up.
Hey, hell yeah.
Look at that, even with us all being like, oh, we're not sure about this week. We still got over an hour of a podcast.
That is true. Kind of a little inside baseball. We definitely struggled with topics this week. It was a little bit of a struggle, but we still just did an hour and 15 minutes. So, thank you all so much for watching this live edition of The Living Joke. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to standing up for 5 seconds because I have been in meetings since 12:30. So I'm looking forward to standing up, going to the bathroom, taking a little bit of time to myself. But thank you everyone for stopping on by. This is Will, that's Connor, I'm Cameron. Follow us on Instagram, TLJ_joke. Make sure to go over to Substack, thelivingjoke.substack.com. I know Will's going to be posting some art soon, so that's going to be really cool. I have an article coming out on what Star Trek Online gets right about the Star Trek universe, and Connor's even talked about posting some stuff. So follow us on Substack. That's where all the cool shit is and where we can hang out, leave comments, all this type of thing. Make sure to follow us on Rumble. If you're a gamer, and if you want to find out where the guys are streaming, it's going to be on Rumble or Twitch. All the links are instantly on the Substack. So if you head over to the Substack, you'll know everything where it is. So Thank you all so much for watching The Living Joke. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you next week, all right? Have a good day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.